Hello you glorious gamers, I'm ChadOfStats and today is the day we crack the nut known as Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin. This is a far more recent game than the last one we tackled.
Jungus 9, go watch it.
But fear not, just because I have a type doesn't mean we will only cover turn-based RPGs in this series, although there will likely still be RPGs. It is around a year after the initial release of Monster Hunter Stories 2. Not the best reaction speed on my part, but at least it's there. To my credit, the time between game release and video is far better than for Dragon Quest 9. It's improved by at least a decade. Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin is exclusive to the Switch and PC. This game is a spin-off of the Monster Hunter series, and if you know anything about it, you will know that the series comes with big weapons and bigger monsters. The same holds true for the spin-off. Now I would say that Stories 2 is a standalone game, and it kind of is. The game's story can be played and understood without needing to experience the first game, although this comes with a few caveats. Firstly, a lot of the game characters from the first game make reappearances, not just like cameos either. They are full-on main characters, with importance to the plot and references to the first game that can leave you with more questions than you had before. Naru. In the end, it is not standalone, it's both. The story begins on an isolated island, where a Wyverian receives a mysterious egg from a Rassalos, who is, by the way, one big chunky boy. Soon, however, an aurora of light appears, turning the ocean red and causing all Rassalos on the island to leave. Also, there were some hunters after the biggest Rassalos. They had their aim of stormtroopers and got fireballed for their troubles. The focus shifts to you, an inhabitant of the island. You are the descendant of a legendary figure, a man by the name of Red, your grandfather. As for parents, I have no idea what, who, or where they were. It's never brought up at all. Regardless, your grandfather was a rider of great renown, with you following in his footsteps to become a rider too. A rider being a person who bonds with monsters, riding them and battling together, as opposed to hunters who slay monsters. You are given your first monster, or monstie as they call them, and are tasked with training up and surveying the area after the strange events that occurred. On this quest, you eventually meet the Wyverian, who after greeting you with a casual tackle reveals she is a friend of your grandfather. Giving you a memento of his, she exposits that strange things are happening around the world, which is backed up by this feline, who latched onto you at the very beginning of the game. Seriously. Opinion of this cat among fans of the series is extremely divided. Whether you love or hate him though, he has stuck with you forever. The Wyverian asks you to go with her, as she must leave the island due to the hunters still searching for the biggest boy. And because you have been bitten by the bug of adventure, you agree, along with the cat. The story starts off strong, with the hook of mystery and adventure pulling you forward. It mostly ends up being enjoyable, but nothing too gripping. There are some moments of the story that are designed to induce the hype, and it succeeds. But other than the beginning and the end, it feels monotonous. The mystery had my interest and I followed it to the end. Though other than that, the story didn't do much to make me want to go forward. I did it to find more monsters in new areas. Overall, I would say the story was nice, pleasant, and enjoyable, but that's it. It was the gameplay that hooked me. Weapon crafting, armor crafting, and monster collecting are the mainstays of the game, along with this glorious combat. Unlike the action-oriented combat of the main series, the game features turn-based combat. You fight alongside your monstie with a selection of 3 weapons, with 6 varying weapon types, spread across the 3 types of damage it inflicts. These are the sword and shield and greatsword that deal slash damage, the hammer and hunting horn dealing blunt damage, lastly the bow and gun lance featuring pierce damage. Each type of damage is effective against different monsters. Battles follow a rock paper scissors style consisting of power, technical, and speed. Power beats technical, technical beats speed, and speed beats power. Most moves you have will follow this typing. If you or your opponent attack each other, it triggers a head-to-head, where the rock paper scissors gameplay is implemented. The winner receives less damage. It sounds simple enough, but you have to factor in your monstie partner. No matter how dopey some look, they are half your battle force. However, in a twist, you can't select their moves. They choose it automatically. Thankfully, monsters come with a predominant type they usually use, being power, technical, or speed. A core component of these battles consists of filling up your kinship gauge. This is a circular meter that fills up when you or your monstie win the head-to-head round. If you and your monstie both use the same attack type, winning against your opponents, you perform a co-op attack that cancels your opponent's move, all the while increasing your kinship meter. Filling this meter allows you to ride your monstie. Still following? While doing this, you can perform what is essentially your ultimate attack, ultimately nuking the poor bugger that is on the receiving end. You can even power up that ultimate move by winning head-to-head rounds on your monster. This power up can reach stage 3, perfect for when you don't want even a crumb of the enemy remaining. The combat in this game has depths to it I haven't even touched, such as elemental affinities, weapon skills, or genes. There's a lot to it. After the battle you receive parts from the monster, which you apparently don't kill? Not sure how you get their bones in. These parts allow you to craft weapons and armor specific to that monster. The fashion game is strong with this one. Throughout the maps there are monster dens scattered around. These dens contain monster nests with eggs in them. This is where you get new monsties, by sneaking in and pulling an egg out from beneath their sleeping mama. Moral quandaries aside, you hightail it with the egg and hatch it at your stable. Fortunately, they don't stay in their cute but useless phase, growing up immediately ready to battle. Let's not forget to mention your companions, and I don't mean the monsters, or the cat. Throughout the game, you're usually accompanied by a character that fights alongside you. This way you're never alone while exploring or in battle. While this might be a negative to a few, I personally like it. It feels like a proper adventuring party this way. For those with bugs, you can choose to do solo post-game. Overall, the game is excellent. They even include many quality of life features, such as adjusting speed of battles, or immediately winning an encounter if you are sufficiently leveled above it. This is a Switch game that was ported to PC. As such, there are some gripes I have with it. The cel-shaded art style is definitely not one of them. Everything is a rich, vibrant color, from the scenery to the gorgeous monsters models. This adds to the battles with monsters, making them pop. Moves look amazing. Look at this fireball. Does this beauty not speak to you? The environment is scenic and is greatly helped by the art style, but it is a bit bland. Nice looking, but nothing really interesting or worth exploring. Everything you are meant to interact with stands out like a rainbow colored thumb, which can make sense from the gameplay's perspective, but it still distracts from the extensive exploration. This is helpfully covered for by the monsters, for if their environment doesn't encourage you to explore, finding new monsters will. There is this annoying pop-in with the grass, even on the PC port. It reminds you that this game is still a port of a Switch game and there are restrictions because of it. There are a few towns in the game that you can explore, each with their own theme. Certainly more interesting than the wilds you can explore, each one has a different vibe to it. Such as the tropical island theme of the first town. I just love exploring new towns and RPGs, seeing what they will look like, what equipment and items they will bring, anything new they offer to the game. In my opinion, I would say this game has good sound design. The weapons and monsters attacks give a nice sense of impact. No sad pool noodle impacts here. They are loud and have depths. This makes the combat even more satisfying, as your attacks have a sense of validity behind them. The soundtrack of the game is great. How could it not be with this as your standard battle theme? What an absolute banger! The soundtrack manages to hit the highs and the lows of the game well. My one gripe with the sound design is that the overworld has no soundtrack, just silence. Everything else is there but no music. I find it quite jarring. Overall, Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin is a great time. With all the monsters that have been released in the updates, there's even more reasons to dive in. This is a nut that is easy to crack for most people, offering a rich insight to those that seek its bounty. If you have made it to the end, thank you for staying with me throughout the video. If you liked it, consider cracking open those like and subscribe buttons. As for me, I'll see you in the next video.